Couple nights ago, you probably got to see the announcement of the Valorant on console trailer. I personally think there's a lot of issues with some things that were brought up in this trailer and from other sources. My number one problem right now with the launch of the game being on console is aim assist. Now, I think aim assist is great for specific games. Let me give you a couple examples of games it works extremely well on. Apex Legends, COD, Fortnite, X Defiant, movement and positioning style games. But the issue with Valorant is that Valorant is not exactly a movement shooter or a slide around unless you're playing Neon. It's an extremely competitive style of game due to the one shot aspect and the movement in the ranks. But this causes a little bit of a gap. The players on console are left only against console, which I think is a huge disappointment due to the problems we've already seen with this style of game. I can give you an example: Rainbow Six Siege. It took a long time. Like, when did this game come out? Let me do a little bit of research. I think it's 9 years since the game came out. The game came out 9 years ago, and it's just now building a fan base around it with Jinxie and Stompin and all of those other creators. And just recently, they announced that they're doing a cross-play or input-based matchmaking on console, and the ability for console players to play in PC lobbies with a friend on PC, I'm assuming, which is great, a great decision, because it stops Zimmers from Zimming in controller lobbies. There's no reason to Zim if you can play the game on keyboard and mouse against other PC players. Uh, I personally, I'll be honest, I've Zimmed before, and it was for that reason. Me not being able to use my a keyboard and mouse, which is my preferred input method, on console, on PC lobbies. I would have much rather play PC lobbies with a Zim than playing controller lobbies. And it also leaves friend groups a little bit destructive. So I have a bunch of friends who happen to have a console. And due to this announcement, I will be unable to play the game with them when it comes out, which would be great due to there already being a hyper, what's it called? A hyper casual group and community within Valorant. A hyper casual, which means that, like, you just casually play the game. This brings up to the question why they don't have like input based matchmaking, which wouldn't be hard to like add into the game with Fortnite, I believe, having input based matchmaking on console. Uh, I think the Call of Duty has input based matchmaking on console. A bunch of other games have input based matchmaking on console. Um, which, like, the issue with it being console versus console is it takes out the competitiveness of console. So there's going to be a competitive console, but it's not going to be as competitive as it could be due to the fact that the prize pools and tournaments are most likely going to be focused on PC. An example of this could be back in the day when console had a pro league on Siege, but was removed due to it not having as much focus or revenue pointed towards it. I think the only way the game might succeed is that if they have a jinxie or something, due to the fact that it's not like cross platform or dual input, because then it also causes a divide among the player base. Uh, because the players will only watch specific content creators, so it causes a divide amongst the content creators as well. So most people on console will they'll only really want to watch the console players because it looks better. Same thing with PC. PC players are most likely gonna watch PC players or PC content creators, which I mean it just makes the most sense because if you're watching, it's not the same version of the game. If everybody knows that when you play console siege, the rank systems, the number one console player can go to number one PC player if they really wants to. But they also know that in between those ranks is completely different. It's a completely different game. The play styles are different. The game sense is different. Like on console, the game sense is way better than the PC player game sense. But the aim on PC is enough to keep up with those game sense players because the aim in that game is such a crutch, which is an issue with Valorant being not dual input. Another failed example of this, I think, is CS:GO. I think CS:GO was on a console. Uh, Also, this will most likely be my first actual upload. I'm probably just gonna keep uploading like little game rants of why stuff doesn't make sense or stuff makes sense. What could be better? What could be worse? Uh, but yeah, just I think it would cause a major gap amongst the player base, and I think it could be better. Well, that's it. Also, one more thing: bring controller to PC Valorant. There's disabled people. Disabled people exist. Being able to change your controls from keyboard and mouse to controller or having your own custom made controller will help disabled people play your game. It's pretty simple. Add it to Valorant. You already have it coded into the Xbox version of the game. Just merge the game, make it the same version of the game. Dual input, pretty simple. Bye.